Thank you for tuning into this quick demo around invoice automation. My name is Thorsten Schnaubpfeil, Managing Director of Noricon, and I will walk you through this 5-minute demonstration. Before we jump right into the demo, let us review the 3 basic steps which are always involved when you automate your accounts payable process. The first step is capturing the invoice image as well as the data of the invoice. What we will see is a basic process, and we will also only use basic capture technology. More sophisticated OCR technology can be used as well and integrated seamlessly into AP Center. But for the sake of time, we will just go through the basic steps. The second step is processing the invoice. In our example, we will demonstrate the processing of a PO invoice. You certainly can also process other accounting documents, such as a non-PO invoice, credit memos, or payment requests. The complexity of the actual workflow can also be configured to meet the need of your specific business requirements. The last step is storage of the invoice document. We will see how we archive and store the image in SharePoint. Alternatively, you can also store the document in other backend repositories as long as they are archive link compliant. But now, without any further ado, let's take a look at AP Center. First, we want to scan an invoice and extract key invoice information from the image. But before we do this, let's take a quick look at the invoice image we are going to scan. As you can see, it is a color image with different colors. We can also see invoice data such as vendor name, PO number, invoice number, and invoice date, as well as the amount. Let's close the image and move it into the scan folder where the scanning application will pick it up. Since we don't have a scanner hooked up for this demo, I will just use this option during the demo. Now we open the scanning application, in this case Kofax Express, and create a new batch. In a production environment, you would scan multiple invoices in one batch. For this demo, we are only going to scan one invoice document. As we can see, the image is not colored anymore, but black and white. This is a great feature of Kofax called VRS, which stands for Virtual Rescan. It basically processes a document and applies the correct settings to deliver high-quality scanned images. This can dramatically improve your accuracy of character recognition. The next step is the indexing of the invoice document. In this demo, we are just extracting some key invoice data. All data which can be extracted from the image are automatically pre-filled in the correspondent index field on the right side. Data can also be added or modified manually. I'm adding a little extension to the invoice number, so it will be easier for us to follow this invoice during processing. Finally, we close the document batch. The invoice is now stored in SharePoint, and all invoice data are passed to AP Center inside of SAP. Once this is done, all the steps related to the document and data capture are completed. Now that we are done with scanning the invoice and capturing the invoice data, let's go into SAP and take a look at AP Center. We see now the AP Center, which gives us visibility to all current accounting liabilities. And when I'm refreshing AP Center, you see how a new record is appended to the invoice list. You also recognize the invoice number from the invoice we just scanned. Even the invoice image is stored in SharePoint. Of course, it is linked to SAP and you can easily retrieve it with one mouse click. You might also notice that all invoice data were passed into AP Center and various validations are conducted. Therefore, we can see now not just the vendor name but also the vendor number from your SAP master record. If you want to process the invoice, we just mark the record and click the Execute button. Since my user is a valid AP user in this demo, it lets me execute the work item and automatically displays the invoice image. In addition, AP Center populates the corresponding SAP transactions to post the parked PO invoice. I'm just adding some missing data and post the invoice. When I'm refreshing AP Center, we can see how the invoice status changes and the invoice is posted successfully. There are numerous hotspots in AP Center which allows you to get more detailed information very easily. For instance, you can click on the status of the invoice, and AP Center provides you the entire history of the invoice, including status details, date and time, and username. Now that we've processed and posted this PO invoice, let's just go over to SharePoint and take a look at AP Center on the SharePoint site. I'm here in the SharePoint library of AP Center, and as you can see, it not only stores the actual document in SharePoint, but it also keeps all the metadata and status in sync. In other words, you can not only retrieve the document in SharePoint, but you can also use all the invoice data from SAP to search and retrieve invoice documents on the SharePoint site. Needless to mention that you can now also use all the SharePoint collaboration features around those documents, which makes this an extremely powerful invoice management solution. Again, this is just a very brief demo of the capabilities around AP Center, but I hope it gave you a good first glance. If you would like to know more about it, please visit our webpage at www.noricon.com or contact us at info@noricon.com. Thanks a lot for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you.